All right. All right. Thursday night football, guys. Real quick. That Monday night football game. Shit was good, wasn't it? You guys try to. I had a lot of people tell me that Breeze is going to do what he does in prime time, blah, blah, blah. Guys, Breeze is a different guy when he's on the road. I hate to tell you. And with no Michael Thomas, I hate to tell you, Struggleville, right? But of course, you played Kamara. You did what you needed to do. Played the chalk. You should have won some money, honestly. Anyways, so let's talk about this game. I kind of like this game. On paper, it looks like crap, right? Dolphins versus Jags. Who really wants to watch this? But have you watched the boy Minshew? Have you watched that man? He looks amazing. He looks so good. Fitzpatrick had a horrible week last week. Horrible. Now we got people talking about Tua is going to come in and take over. Is it a possibility? Sure. If you fucking play him, though, you're stupid. I'm sorry. I highly doubt that he will end up in the optimal, even if he comes in at halftime. He's 10,000. Please don't play that man. Please don't. Don't be that guy. Anyways. Let's talk about this game. So first of all, the total I saw started at 44 over under, and now it's up to 47.5. That's pretty big jump, I think. As of right now, we have the Jags -3, and some injury news, some big ones. Byron Jones is out, and also big one, Chark is out for the Jags. So that's some big stuff. Some values already popped up. You got a lot of opportunities here for these value plays. Let's talk about them. All right, so first things first, let's talk about the Jags. Let's talk about the running backs. James Robinson. So I've had a couple people try to talk to me about James Robinson, offer me trades. I'll give you James Robinson for Michael Thomas. And I just like looking at him like, what are you talking about? James Robinson, a Jags running back? But for Michael Thomas? Anyways, James Robinson has looked pretty damn good. He averages about 5.1 yards per carry. He has 4 catches on 5 targets. The first 2 weeks, he has played 68% of the snaps week 1, and then week 2, he played 51% of the snaps. So he's playing a lot. He's getting a lot of volume, getting a lot of work. He's 7,800, and he's going against the Miami D defense, who has given up 300 rushing yards so far. They're bad. They're not good. This is lining up for a This is lining up for a James Robinson show. You would think at least a touchdown, maybe even 2. I love James Robinson today. I'm gonna have a lot. I think that's someone I'm really gonna go over the field on. I can't step away from it. You know, with the truck news, and we're gonna talk about the wide receivers. I could see the Jags really pounding it with running backs. I could see that happening today. So James Robinson is one of my favorite plays. One of my favorite plays, hands down. The second running back for the Jags is Chris Thompson. Chris Thompson had his good games with Washington, right? They actually used him. But it seems like for the Jags, they're really not using him at all. He's strictly a passing down back, which he has been, but at least in Washington, they gave him some type of volume, but now he's not. So last week, he had 2 carries for 4 targets. Not getting work. It's not getting work. He's cheap. He's 2,600. He's definitely someone that I would want some type of exposure to, maybe, but not a lot. I really don't think you need to go crazy with that. I don't see the volume there. I don't see him getting carries. It seems like they're really trying to get James Robinson as much work as possible. They're really trying to give him as much work as possible, and that's what I'm going to go with tonight. James Robinson, guys. If you're running 150 max, get some exposure to Chris Thompson. He's got a nice floor, especially with the ball in his hands. He's able to do work, but it's just up to him getting the ball. So that's only the running backs on the Jags that I really even touch. Again, really prefer James Robinson, obviously. But if you're running 150 max or whatever you're doing, more than one lineup, have some Chris Thompson exposure. Don't go crazy. Okay, let's talk about the wide receivers. So the big news is that we know that Chark is out. Big news, Chark is out. And he's he was like everyone's favorite player to draft, right? I don't feel like he's getting what the volume that we expected. Anyways, let's talk about what's going to happen now with Chark out. So the first person that we're going to talk about is Chris Conley. And yeah, it's going to be chalk. It's going to be a lot of chalk. Good reason, though. Chris Conley will immediately be put into Chark's role. He will be pretty much an every down back. Like, we could see him playing every snap, probably. Really. He's 2,200, and in my opinion, he's the best value on this slate. He's the best value on this slate. Again, he's going to be chalk, but for a reason that I don't care about. He's good chalk. The volume is an issue as of now. I think last week I remember that he got one target. But he's a type of wide receiver who targets vary on the weeks. So, for example, if you feel like today is going to be a shootout, or you feel like today the Jags are going to come from behind, then Conley's your man, right? Conley should easily destroy 2,200. Now, looking at the spread, Jags -3, I think this game's going to be close. So I think Conley's an excellent play. Excellent play. $2,200, best value on the slate, guys. Easy. The next guy I want to talk about is the man himself who has emerged from the dead, Keelan Cole. Keelan Cole has the most targets on the Jags. He has 12 targets. He only has one drop. He's only dropped one. So most targets, one drop. Guy looks good. Minshew's definitely feeding him, right? He's 5,400. I'm going to assume that we have smart people out there and he's going to be really chalky. I'm going to assume that. But you never know. I think people are going to really get sprung off the next wide receiver I'm going to talk about. But Keelan Cole, most targets on the Jags, one drop. I mean, come on, guys. And he has an excellent matchup. I love his matchup today, too. I personally think a touchdown 80 yards is what I would think easily what could happen today. And if he gets us more than that, cool. Sick. He's one of my favorite players. James Robinson, Keelan Cole. Love them both. Heavy exposure. I will. The next guy I want to talk about, and I'm not going to talk about the heavy chalk guy because I'm going to go in on this guy. I'm going to kill his name. Laveska Chanel. Killed his name. I know I did. He's 6,600. It's expensive. He's expensive. He's not getting a lot of volume. Could change a little bit today. But what's cool about him is that he's also getting carries. They're also using him as a running back. So what does that tell us? That tells us that he has the safest floor out of the bunch, right? I obviously like Cole a little more, but I like him second based on risk. I think he easily will hit his floor today, and if he gets it to touchdown, we're loving it. Again, 6,800 is expensive, but I just don't. Looking at this wide receiving core, they're going to feed him. I just don't see them not feeding him. So he's a good play. Again, he's expensive. I kind of worry about that, but we got to pay up for some good volume, or we have value to spread out. So that's my third wide receiver I talk about. Now here we go with fucking chalk, and I'm gonna go in on this right now. Dede Westbrook, $200. He's been a healthy scratch week 1 and week 2. Today, with Chark out, Dede is going to be a wide receiver 4. He's going to rotate. $200 is, it's cheap. It's very cheap. I'm not going to sit here and say he can't beat that. You fucking hope he can. It's $200. What does he need? A catch in 30 yards. But to be honest, if he doesn't get the points that we really need, even at $200, is he going to be part of the optimal? We're literally playing a slate with value on both sides. Do we really need to save money by playing a player you don't know what's going to happen? See what I'm saying? I think he's fine for MME, but if you're playing 1 and 3 lineups, fade that fuck. Fade him. Don't do it. Don't do it. Seriously. Again, MME, of course, you want some exposure. 1 to 3 lineups, I'd probably fade. Yeah, I would. And if it bites me in the ass, you guys can talk shit later. But right now, I'm not with it. I don't like it. Not my guy. Someone who's been, a healthy scratch the first 2 weeks lets me think that they're not feeling him anymore. Not at all. So that's kind of what I think about those wide receivers. So if I had to place them in order, obviously it would be, based off price, I would have a lot of Chris Conley. He's too cheap. If he's going to play all the snaps, we're talking 60%, 70%. He's going to play all the snaps. Too cheap for that. Too cheap. But second one, be Keelan Cole. That's a no-brainer. His matchup today is sexy. Got a sexy matchup. Love him today. I think Minshew's going to beat him. I just wouldn't be shocked. And then my last one would be our boy Nick's favorite player today, it seems like. And I'm probably going to kill his name. Laviska Shenault. I fucking know. Again, he has a safe floor. I'm kind of worried about the upside, but the floor is there. He's got it. And then obviously D.D. Westbrook. Play him at your own risk. This is how I feel about it. So that's how I feel as a game. So we got James Robinson, favorite play. Love Conley, love Cole. Get yourself some Laviska in there. And then D.D. Westbrook, play your own risk. That's how I feel about it. All right. Sweet. Let's talk about tight ends, right? Yeah. Let's talk about some tight ends. Well, actually, really quick, I have another dart play for you. Highly don't recommend it if you're not playing 150 lineups. Colin Johnson, possibly get some work today, get some snaps in. You never know. We're going to get these random dudes scoring touchdowns. It's a possibility, but don't go crazy about it. Tight ends. Tight ends is a little tricky for the Jags. They have Tyler Eifert and James O'Shaughnessy, right? I know off the top of the back, my favorite pick out of the two would be James O'Shaughnessy based off price. He's only $1,600. He's caught all 5 of his targets, and I personally believe he's outplaying Tyler Eifert right now, and I think that's going to lead to more snaps for him. I really like him today. I think you got to have him in your pool. This is one of those players that I won't be like locked in on, but I'll definitely have exposure to without a doubt. And then Tyler Eifert, $5,800. He's been okay. But at that price and kind of how the snaps are going for both sides, I'm going to have a tiny bit. I don't think I'm going to have a lot. I'd rather have James at his price. He looks better. That's just how I'm looking at it. So, again, out of the pair, I prefer James O'Shaughnessy. But Tyler Eifert is interesting, just not that amazing. Yeah. So, it's pretty simple, straightforward for the Jags, in my opinion. Dolphins fucking can't stop the ball. Can't stop runners. Their corners are trash. Xavier Howard is good. He's decent. But you got Byron just out. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good for them. So that's kind of how I look at the Jags. Straightforward stuff. Then we go to the Dolphins. Now we'll start off with the mess. The mess is the running backs. You got Myles Gaskin, Jordan Howard, and Matt Breida, right? Myles Gaskin, 7,200. He's played 60% of the snaps, but he's had less than 10 carries. But with that, he's also had 10 targets. Right? Fucking nuts. The overall season, he's had 16 attempts, so that means carries, whatever, for 62 yards and, again, 10 targets. I like that. I like the targets. He's just fucking expensive. I just feel like they're overpricing these guys that we don't know. Like, is he going to get – we're kind of banking on a touchdown, right? Like, I don't know. He's fine. He's probably the safest bet on the team or running back wise, but that's hell of expensive. I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about it. He's a fine play. If you feel like the Jags are going to be smashing, like up by 30 or whatever, then I could see Gaskin getting those, those targets. I could see that happening. And all it takes is for him to bust one out and you're loving life, right? Have him in your pool. Again, if you're playing less than 10 lineups, maybe have one. I'm not in love with him today. I really am not. The volume of snaps are there, but he's not getting carries. See what I'm saying? Doesn't click. He's okay. Jordan Howard. I was a big fan of Jordan Howard when he was in Chicago. Loved him. I really loved him. He won me a lot of fucking money. But this year, he looks like shit. He looks bad. He looks really awful. Week 1, he had 5 carries for 4 yards. Week 2, he had 8 carries for 7 yards. So do the math. How many yards per carry is he getting? What is happening? But the positive thing about Jordan Howard, which could lead to a possible decent day, is that he leads the team in touches at the 10-yard line. So they're really using him as a goal line back. Pretty much what they're doing. So, I mean, is it a possibility that he runs 2 in today? Yeah, possibility. I'm kind of worried about that ceiling. It's 4,800. We're almost banking on like 2 touchdowns, right? Can he get it? Yeah. 4,800 is not expensive. I'd rather play him than Gaskin, maybe. But yeah, he just looked like shit. He just looked bad. So I guess if the Dolphins can't figure out how to throw the ball today, then Jordan Howard should see some more work. But I don't think the Dolphins are going to struggle too much throwing today. So Jordan Howard, add him to your pool. Don't go super crazy. The third running back is Matt Breida, who they picked up this offseason, who they're not using. I don't know. He had 7 carries week 1, 5 carries week 2. I don't know what the deal is. He looks better than Jordan Howard. If he was given more carries, then he was given the goal line carries, and Jordan Howard's out of the question, I think. Oh, sorry, my cat is going to join us. Get down. I think that he would be an excellent play, especially at his price at $1,800. The solid thing about Matt Breida is that we know what he can do with the ball in his hands. So we know that he has a floor, right? We know what he can do. I like him. I think he's sneaky, especially in a game where you think the Jags are going to be winning. I think he's a sneaky guy. I like Breida. Again, 1 to 3 lineups, I probably wouldn't even touch the running backs. If you're playing him and he goes, no-brainer, have some exposure to all of them. But yeah, so again, the Dolphins running back situation is a show. It's a shit show. It is. So in order, I would probably go. Obviously, Gaskin is safer. It's safer. You know he's going to get some type of work. And then Matt Breida based off price. And, we know what he can do with the ball in his hands. And he could bust out for one, and you're sitting pretty at 1,800. I mean, that could be optimal immediately, right? And then Jordan Howard would be my third. I would sprinkle those 2 in. Sprinkle them in. But I would prefer Matt Breida. That's just me. Okay, let's talk about the wide receiver 1 is the man himself, Devontae Parker. Now, let's talk about this for a second. I remember, I think it was his rookie year, when he couldn't stay on the fucking field. He was having hamstring issues left and right. He still has injury issues, but not as bad, I guess. And I remember that I was watching a conference, or I read something, it was long ago, and he said that he doesn't like to drink water. What kind of person doesn't like to drink water? Fucking, I don't get it. You're an athlete. You don't drink water? Come on, bro. Regardless, Devontae Parker week 1 played 37% of the snaps. I think that has to do a lot with his injury. I think he pretty much got hurt pretty early. I think it's that nagging hamstring issue again. And then week 2 he had 88% of the snaps. So I think he's ready. I think he's good to go. No problems. Today he has a tough matchup against CJ Henderson. But I won't just fade a player because the matchup is tough. That's the way you want to attack, right? Especially in GPPs, if people want to fade the true one because the matchup isn't the greatest, and then I think you're being stupid to do. I guess if you're playing one lineup, sure, fade him. Probably would be nice, especially if he sucks. But I don't fade players based on matchups like that. I just don't, because these are NFL players that do NFL player things, and anything can happen. So I really, really like Devontae Parker today. I think he is a no-brainer, even at his price. Love him. Love Devontae Parker. Love him. The next wide receiver is Preston Williams. Preston Williams. When Devontae Parker was out last year, Preston Williams looked good. He had his games where he balled the fuck out. He looked really good. This year, what's going on? They are throwing him the ball. He's getting the volume. He has 12 targets in 2 games. Was it 2 games? Is it week 3, guys? I don't even know. Work has been a bitch. It is week 3. Cool. He's getting the volume, guys. He has 12 targets. The shit thing is he only has 3 catches. So the game is coming, right? The performance is coming. So that could be a little edge you got right there. He's getting the targets, not catching the ball. So the catches have to come at some point. They have to. So I like Preston Williams today. I wouldn't go crazy. I kind of like him. I think he's going to have low ownership based on that. I like him. He's decent. The final player, which Kyle hates all my stuff, even though I love him to death. Kyle likes this guy, and so do I. Isaiah Ford. A lot of people haven't heard of him. I'm assuming sites now are probably talking about him for a good reason. Isaiah Ford last week had 9 targets. And today his matchup is great. Love it. I love Isaiah Ford today. I think he's a sneaky captain play. I think if the targets like that continue, especially if they're playing from behind, gotta love Isaiah Ford, especially at his price at $3,000. I like Isaiah Ford more than I like Preston Williams based off that price. And if Fitzpatrick is kind of starting to lean away from Preston Williams because he's not catching the damn ball, Isaiah Ford could be the guy today. Could be one of those Preston Williams, Isaiah Ford stacks, right? And fade Preston Williams. I like Isaiah Ford a lot. I think if you're playing 1 to 3 lineups, you need to have exposure. I really do. Love Isaiah Ford, guys. So in order of the wide receivers, I would go Parker, Ford, Williams. I think Williams has some upside at a lower ownership based off the volume that he's gotten. He just needs to catch the ball. So Dolphins wide receivers to me are straightforward. The running backs are a mess. Let's talk about the best player on the Dolphins. Mike Chesky. I probably killed his fucking name too. Big Mike. We'll call him Big Mike. Big Mike leads the team in targets, catches, and yards. He's like a wide receiver 1 on the Dolphins, in my opinion. He gets the ball more than anyone. His matchup is awesome. The Jags just got smacked by Geno Smith. Just got smacked. Shit all over him. ODB style. I love him today. He's 7,400, and that price doesn't even faze me. I think he's too cheap. I think he's too cheap at 7,400. For the upside, for the volume, for the yards, for the touchdown, love Big Mike today. Love him. Gotta have him. Gotta have him. If you're playing 1 to 3 lineups, I'd probably have him in 2. Fade him in 1. I'm heavy. I'm going heavy on that fool. I'm going to go heavy on him. If he kills me, he kills me. He's on my fantasy team too, so we're going to live or die tonight, right? Love Big Mike today. A deep play would be Adam Shaheen. Again, I think people are going to try to get cute. I do think that a lot of people are going to try to play these studs. There's a possibility that they do something, but with the pricing today and I think the game being pretty much straightforward and the way that players are going to cycle in and out, I just don't think you need to go there. I don't think you need to go to D. I don't think you need to go to Adam. I don't think you need to do this stuff. I don't think you need to play those players. You don't need to. You don't need the salary save. You don't need it. Now what I really want to talk about is the quarterbacks for a good reason. Well, at least one of them. We know what Minshew's going to do. Dude's a stud. He's looked amazing week 1 and 2. I think the Jags finally figured out they fucked up last year, and they're going to let this man play, and he looks great. He looks great. Love him. Got to have him today, especially in your stacks. I mean, you don't need me to tell you that. And that's why I really don't talk about quarterbacks, because they're pretty logical plays. But I do want to talk about Fitzpatrick. So I was totally wrong, and I thought I read that Tua had not practiced. But I was digging deeper, and it looked like he did. He has practice. I do understand that Fitzpatrick sucked week 1 or week 2. I understand he was trash. He wasn't very good. But I feel like if they didn't like what they saw, they would say Tua starting week 3, right? Why? Why even put Fitzpatrick in, and then if he sucks, take him out? By that time, you're losing the game you lost. You got. So that's how I feel about it. I don't think Fitzpatrick's going to get benched today. I think he has one more game in him. If he sucks today, if he doesn't do what he needs to do, I think we're going to look at Tua week 4. I can see that. And then, guys, don't be the people that play Tua at $10,000 on DK. Don't be that person. If he comes in at halftime, you're not that. You would need to have like 4 touchdowns and a half to even touch value. I don't want to argue with anyone about playing him. If you want to play him, send me a head-to-head. Shit. Don't play too well today. I understand if you want to lower your exposure to Fitzpatrick because you're kind of afraid. But honestly, if I had to make an educated guess, I'm like, the probability that he'll get pulled is less than 15%. Less than, I think it'd be 10%. 5 to 10 maybe. I don't think he's getting pulled today, guys. Don't play too long. Don't do it. So I think this game is really straightforward, guys. I really think that you can't overthink it. I don't think you really need the value that people are trying to push on you. I don't think you need D.D. Westbrook. You definitely don't need Tua. You don't need these guys that are just risky as shit. You don't need them today. You don't. The value is already there. Already there. So let's talk about captain plays. Now, captain plays are going to be, I'm going to break them down like what I think would be the safest plays, which would be the most logical plays. And then I'll talk about, obviously, the plays that are a little bit riskier but could be GPP takedowns. So, obviously, Gesicki, my favorite play on the slate, hands down, especially with the Jags being favorites. I think Fitzpatrick's going to have to throw today, and he knows that possibly his career is on the line, right? He's old, isn't he? Like 30-something. So I think he's going to feed his favorite target all day long. He's going to make sure that he keeps his job. He's going to make sure it's his last year. I'm guaranteeing it. And then my second captain play would be obviously James Robinson. He has a elite matchup. He's getting volume. He's going against a running back or a Dolphin team who can't stop running backs. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink that. Love James Robinson. My third one would be Devontae Parker. I really like him. Again, another no-brainer play. Matchup isn't the sexiest, but that's okay. We like those types of things, especially with wide receivers who continue to get volume regardless of what the matchup, and that's Devontae Parker. Okay. And then my last, and it's kind of, I'll say this. I like Keelan Cole. I think he's my 4th ranked captain as of now. I like Keelan Cole. He's looked great the first 2 weeks. Minshew seems to be feeding him. He was even feeding him when Chark was healthy. I just think Minshew has found his safety blanket, and that's what he's doing. So I like Keelan Cole. Those would be my top 4 captain plays. They're probably all going to have significant amount of ownership. But again, in showdowns, I don't really trip too much off that. I just trip off high ownership for value plays. Most of the time, they don't hit. And then my other captain option would be Preston Williams, Ford, and then Nick's boy, Labuska. Did I say his name right? I think I would prefer Preston over Ford because he's getting so much volume but just not connecting. So obviously if he's getting volume, he's got to connect at some fucking point. It could be today, and no one will play him. Could be today. It could be the fact that Devontae Parker is struggling. He can't beat this matchup for some reason. He just makes me look stupid. I lose fantasy week because he can't figure it out. And then you have Preston Williams as a guy like, hey, we got to feed him, catch the ball, and he's catching it. And he's doing what he got to do. So I do like Preston Williams as a sneaky captain play. I wouldn't be super crazy about it, but I would have some exposure in my 150 max or whatever it is, or even 20. I like Ford. I think he's getting a lot of talk, so I may lean off even captain play for him. I think a lot of people are talking about him now. I mean, 9 targets last week is insane. Really insane. So I like him. He's cool. And then Laviska, I worry about the ceiling. I'm not too sure about that ceiling, but at least he has a safe floor. So I might say not a captain play now that I think about it. I guess, man, I don't, yeah, not a captain play. Can't do it. I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid that he's not going to get there. I don't know. I'll figure it out and talk to you guys in Slack about it. But yeah. So again, Gisesse, Robinson, Parker, Cole, Williams, Ford, Libby Scott, right? I don't know. Look at it, guys. All right. So again, my build, easy peasy, 3x3, 4x2. If you think this game's going to be a fucking blowout, 5x1. And then make sure you have whatever the heavy stack is, maybe a defense in there as well, because obviously that's going to happen. Now, again, before I let you guys go, if Tua comes in this game, I think the Jags eat him alive. I do. He's barely practiced, guys. I mean, he practiced a little bit. Here's how I feel about it. So don't play Tua. Don't do it. Anyways, good luck tonight. Let's make a lot of fucking money. Let's do this. Make sure that you join us at the GFS headquarters. It's really cheap, guys. We got a lot of stuff going on. I got a sheet that I'm dropping this week for NFL. We got Nick dropping some tennis. We got Kyle dropping some tennis knowledge. We got Snoop and our boys dropping some baseball stuff. We're going to feed you. We're going to feed you guys. Come join us. Come hang out. Let's talk. Chark is not playing. He's out. Sorry, I didn't see your comments. I am on Slack. Yeah, I'm almost there. Yes, again, Chark is out. Don't play him. If you are playing him, give me a head-to-head. Let's get some money. No, but don't play him. Other than that, if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can hit me on Twitter, Vigo07, VEGO07, or hit me up on Slack. Seem like a lot of knowledgeable people in there already. So make some money tonight. I'll see you guys later.